Welcome to Speakernomics, the official podcast of the National Speakers Association. I'm Kenneth Kinney, but friends call me Shark, and like you, I'm a professional speaker, and I love listening to Speakernomics. Speakernomics is a professional speaker show that will help you thrive and grow speaking business so you too can change the world, one keynote session workshop and speech at a time. And on this episode, we welcome Larry Long Jr., and who is Larry, you ask? Well, he is a speaker, the current president of NSA Carolinas, the chief energy officer of LLJR Enterprises, recognized as a four-time Salesforce top sales influencer, serves as a LinkedIn influencer and sales thought leader. He's a former college athlete. I'm going to just say go Terps so he won't tell us later. And a former NSA Clubhouse room guest and room moderator. At least that's where I met him way back when. Larry, welcome to Speakernomics. How are you today?
What is going on, Shark? Is my microphone on? Can you hear me? I got backup just in case. Happy to be here with you, Shark.
Absolutely. Now, to all my speaking friends, what are the secrets and strategies to energize your speaking business? Maybe, just maybe, you need a little jolt of electricity. And for some, selling yourself can sometimes feel intimidating. Not with these two clowns here on this show, but with the right strategies and perspectives, we can turn dread into confidence. If you want more speaking engagements, which I hope you do, then you must sell. So what do we need to do to shift that mindset and energize your sales approach? And before we jump in, make sure to go to Speakernomics. That's where you can find the tips, insights, and knowledge to help you become a better speaker, build a better business, and get paid to speak. Larry, let's dive in. Number one, how do you define sales?
Oh, I love it. I love it. My definition is twofold. Number one, and I'm not wishing my energy upon everyone, but number one, it's a transfer of energy. So if you're not energized, if you don't have some sort of juice, some sort of gumption, and you let the juice loose, how is anyone else going to get excited about you? So I know we're selling ourselves, our programs, our thoughts, our ideas. You've got to be energized and make sure that it transfers. Number two, don't call me Patty Stanger, the $1 million matchmaker, but we're playing matchmaker. We're matching what we have. It could be a product, a service, a thought, an idea with someone else's needs, their wants, their desires, their challenges, their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations. And when you play matchmaker, in the words of the great philosopher, J.J. Walker, it is dynamite.
Oh, my Lord, that's bringing back too many memories. All right, so then you produce a lot of content on LinkedIn. Obviously, we've been friends and connected there forever. I see a lot of your videos. How are you approaching all the content that you need to produce as a speaker and looking at it for, in particular, LinkedIn? And is it video? Is it other forms of content? And then what are you doing to apply that to the relationships that you build with people? Because a lot of your speaking gigs, as you've told me many times before, come out of the work that you're doing so well with LinkedIn.
Yeah, great question right there. So you made a point, and I'm going to focus on the words. I don't need to do anything, but I want to, and I appreciate the opportunity to create content to share my thoughts, to share thought leadership, to share my experiences. And my hope is that it motivates, that it educates, that it inspires. And I'm in the business of transforming lives. So I leverage LinkedIn as the platform to put that content out. The content is good. It touches people. But the real magic, and I know that everyone out there is looking for that magic pixie dust. They want that silver bullet. I hate to tell them it's not out there. But the next best thing is the relationships that you're now enabled to create one-to-one with folks that engage with your content. So when I put out a post, folks that engage with my content, whether it's a reaction and or a comment, they've essentially given me my foot in the door that they're open to a connection. They know me. I hope they like me. I hope they trust and believe in me, which is the start to almost any good relationship.
So talk about that. I mean, what are all the kind of reactions that people typically are giving you out of your content that spur you to go from either a like or a comment that, and then you go to the next level with them?
Yeah, well, Shark. If someone engages, they can do a like, a love, a insightful, funny, whatever it is. That's giving me the door. And essentially, what I do is I look at titles, and for me, the titles that my ears perk up on is CRO, Chief Revenue Officer, VP of Sales, Director of Sales, Sales Manager, Sales Director, Sales Enablement, event planner, meeting planner. Watch out now. I'm starting to feel the love. And if I see that, I'm saying, is there a seed that I can plant to add value to them? Because what happens most times, not most times, what happens sometimes, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. When they think of sales, they think about what they can get. Survey says, nah. Sales is about what can you give? So I look for, hey, Shark, what can I give you? I did a little bit of research and I see that you're in Memphis. I've done a little bit more research and I know that's Beale Street right there. How can I make a insightful message to you to let you know that I've done a little bit of research? My friend Sam McKenna, she actually has this trademarked and I love it. Show me that you know me. Oftentimes we go in and we don't know anything about these folks that we're trying to engage with and we're trying to sell, and we're asking them to give me. I call those people me monsters. You're all about me. Well, essentially, the key to sales is being a you monster. What can I do to make a deposit, a positive deposit in your life? How can I build up equity in our relationship so that I can then earn, I can then build up my bank in my relationship bank where I can make a withdrawal because I've given so much. So when people tell me, hey, Larry, I'm not getting any traction, I ask them, when was the last time that you gave, and the last time you gave with no expectation of return? That's the key. Some people give, and people are smart enough. You can smell BS from a mile away. They give because they want to get. Once again, survey says, yep, you got it. Nah.
Well, tell me about the process you went through. I mean, for as long as I've known you or that we've been connected on LinkedIn, you weren't in LinkedIn, I think, started doing video a while after we met to where it became a lot more that it's used today, and they're still growing with it. But at what point did you say to yourself, and why, I need to do more video on LinkedIn and produce more content on LinkedIn, and then use that as a way to plant the seeds?
Yeah, I know. I remember this vividly. 2020 was when I started my midweek, midday motivational minute. I'm now at 280 plus episodes every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern. I'm consistent with going live or making sure that there's a recording there. A good colleague of mine, I'll call him a mini mentor, Morgan J. Ingram. He said, Larry, you got to get on video. I said, nah, Morgan, I just like writing the written posts. He said, Larry, I'm going to tell you what my mentor told me. If you don't get on video, it's because you're selfish. I said, hold up, wait a minute. No one calls me selfish and walks away. I am not selfish. He said, well, everything you told me about why you're against going on video, I told him, I said, hey, I got the face for radio. He said, yeah, you're ugly. I said, they're all going to laugh at me. He said, Larry, they're already laughing at you. He said, I'm going to tell you what my mentor told me. If you're being on video can impact one person that needs to see you, then it's all worth it. It's not about you, Larry. It's about someone else. And when he told me that was on a Friday. That following Wednesday was when I started going LinkedIn Live. When I started proactively and actively, consistently putting out videos. And Shark, we're speakers. We should want to be lights, camera, action. Come on now.
I think he just recognized how shy you are, and that was the whole part of it. But let's talk then about other channels. I know you did this on Instagram as well, but now that you're starting up a newsletter and all those things, when you start thinking about selling yourself, where's at least the line that you figure out I'm doing LinkedIn well, and now I got to start putting myself everywhere? There's only so much time to create all this content, to spend all this, and you can hire VAs all day long, but then that becomes a mess to manage. And then you, again, is the goal just to produce a ton of content?
Not for me. And I'm very intentional. From the work I did 4 years ago with Coach Kristen Frade, it's about being intentional, being thoughtful, and really making sure that everything you do has meaning and purpose behind it. So for me, I choose to go where my buyers are. And are they on LinkedIn, TikTok, X, and Facebook? They are. Are they making buying decisions there? Not from my experience. So I work with a virtual professional, nothing but love. Her name is Laverne, out of the Philippines. And she did all my socials except for LinkedIn. I said, that's my baby. And we tried, and we tried, and we tried again. And I got to say that I think we were batting over, kind of like my college baseball career. We didn't get any engagement secured. Whereas LinkedIn, I can attribute over 90% of my engagements from the platform of LinkedIn, those relationships that are created, the consistency that I'm putting myself out there. I think that there's really a two-part combination in our world. We want to be seen so that we can sell more. There's a lot of folks out there that have impactful messages. They deliver on the stage, but they're the best kept secret. And my encouragement to you is, hey, don't be quiet. Shout it out. Let people know. Come on now.
Now for a little speaking trivia. Before founding NSA in 1973, what notable speaking award did Cavett Robert receive in 1972? Back with the answer in just a moment. Before we jump back to the show, here's a moment with certified speaking professional, author, and NSA member Mike Mooney. Mike, what does being part of NSA mean to you and your speaking business?
Yeah, Shark. Well, listen, this is a great question and a very important one, I think, as you look at your speaking career. This is clearly like an industry that I didn't realize this when I first started, but as you sort of get into it, you realize that it's a job that not a lot of people truly get, right? And they say, "Oh, you're a speaker." I do that, and you realize, no, you don't. Respectfully, running the business, understanding your finances, the promotion of it, right? Negotiations and contracts and all these other aspects that once you start getting deeper into it and you're committing to this craft and this business, this calling for many of us, having a community of people that get it really is important, because this can be an incredibly isolating business, which is sort of that oxymoron of what if you're in front of people, you're working with people, yeah, but not all the time. So having a community of people around you that get you, that can relate to the experiences that you're having, like we've talked about before in the past or in our little masterminds that we have, is so not only incredibly therapeutic and cathartic, but also so vital to being able to stay in the business and then work on the business. So that's the other part of it for me. I mean, there's the mental component of helping me stay sharp, in the work I'm doing. Yet there's also the side of helping me sharpen my saw on a regular basis. I have a lifeline. I have a community. I have a group of people that I can reach out to that can help me with the stagecraft when I have a question. They can help me on business development. They can help me, on my message refinement, talk about finances and the things that, fortunately, there are people who are way ahead of us in the business that you can reach out to, and there are others that are behind us that we can turn back around and help out as well. So maybe a long answer to say that, being an NSA at the national as well as state chapter level is absolutely vital to your success, and I think your own health, and vitality in this profession.
And here's the answer. Before founding NSA in 1973, Cavett Robert received Toastmasters Golden Gavel Award in 1972. And now, back to the show. Well, Larry, I know we're going to talk about this and you're going to open up the playbook a lot more once we get to Orlando, but I want to ask you a question that comes from a previous guest. Our previous guest was inspired by their speakers. That's why they got into the business. But for you, Larry Long Jr., what other speakers have had a great impact on your life? And please try to list somebody else other than me.
Wow. Well, in addition to you,
If you can keep from laughing.
There's so many to name from the early Clubhouse days.
Yeah.
Tom Singer, Lois Kramer, RJ, Maureen Mahoney. These were folks that really lifted me up. Since then, Anton Gunn, Walter Bond, Dr. Willie Jolly, Lenore Billings Harris, Valda Ford, Jane Jenkins Herlong, Meredith Elliott Powell, Mark Hunter. I mean, the list goes on. I know I'm missing a ton of folks, but guess what, Shark? I'm going to encourage people. You do not want to miss March 9th when I present on the Thrive Winter Workshop stage, because I'm going to make sure that I account for and I appreciate and I shout out each and every person, each and every speaker that has an impact. And I've been thinking about it. I've been making a compilation of it. So I'm going to make sure I give them a just due shout out as a part of my program.
Absolutely. And I would put those same people on my list any day of the week. So Larry, what is a question that you would like to ask a future guest on this show?
I would love to hear from them. What's the one thing that they're preparing for as they look forward to the future? And by the future, I just mean the next, let's say through the end of 2026. What's the one thing that they're focused on as a key point as a professional speaker that we should all be looking for in the next year and 10 months?
Fantastic. Well, then let's do a quick recap then based on Larry's energetic advice. Number one, Larry defines sales as a transfer of energy. People need to be excited about you. They need to be excited about how much you match to their program. It's part Cupid, part JJ Walker, and all dynamite. Number two, you're creating content, maybe a speech, maybe a show, maybe a social post, whatever it is. But LinkedIn isn't just a platform, and it helps you engage in relationships. Remember that. Relationships for people that engage with your content. Find a platform to plant a seed and plant a relationship. Show me that you know me, he said. Don't be a me monster. Larry's key to sales is making it a you monster. Make it about them. That's what we're supposed to do. Number three, be intentional with your content and your channels. Go to where your buyers are. Larry, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Orlando very soon. Any last closing thoughts before we speak ourselves off this stage?
Oh, I love it. Shark, I first want to say thank you. The parting shot that I have for folks, and we're going to dig into this, is it's a question that was posed by a newer speaker colleague of mine, Chris Vasami out of Charlotte. He's a former professional baseball player. He now coaches youth baseball players. And on his board, he shared with me something that really impacted me. It's the question of, are you interested? Are you committed? Or are you obsessed? And for all the viewers and listeners, I want you to think about, are you interested, committed, or obsessed? That is the question.
Fantastic. Friends, make sure to join us at Speakernomics.com and let your voice be heard. I'm Kenneth Shark Kinney, your host of the National Speakers Association's podcast, Speakernomics, and this has been another fantastic episode of the show. Thank you, Larry, for your service to NSA and for lending your voice to the show. And to everyone listening, thank you for the privilege of your time. And remember, Speakernomics is a podcast where you'll learn to speak, get paid, repeat.